Well, hello YouTubers. It's time for another scrap out, tear down, depopulate video. They seem to be quite popular, so I gotta tear this thing apart anyway. I might as well film myself doing it. Today's victim is a Cisco Catalyst 2900 Series XL switch. Looks like it's got some optical ports as well as wired network ports. It's an older unit, and it's quite heavy for its size. This thing is a beast, so that gives me hope that there's some good stuff inside. A lot of the newer Cisco units I've taken apart were mostly just empty space and didn't have a lot of good stuff inside. But this thing's pretty old, so we'll see what's inside. I've never taken one of these apart before. All the good stuff seems to be, on the front. On the back, well, there's nothing but some fans and a power port and a console port. So there's really nothing much on the back. That's a DC power input connector there. So we'll see what we got. And one thing I like about this is it's got some cards installed. I hate it when I get a piece of equipment and it's all blank plates and there's nothing installed. Maybe one thing. But this has got a couple cards installed, so it's kind of a bit of a bonus. No blanking plates. All right, so let me get the camera up on the tripod and we'll start disassembling this and see what's inside. Okay, we're up on the tripod. I've got all my surgical tools ready to go over here, so let's disassemble this thing and see what we got. We pull these cards out of the front first, see what they look like. Well, not a bad little card. Got some good stuff on it. Got a gold corner BGA, some big flat packs. This looks like maybe RAM across here. Got some surface mount LEDs with these plastic light pipes that take the light out to the front. Lots of Ciscos use the plastic light pipes. They like those. And it got some network ports up front, each one with eight is it gold-plated pins inside? Yeah, it looks like it. So cool. Got a connector on the back. This will have some gold pins in it. So not a bad little board. Not a bad little board at all. Got some big old MLCCs on the back. I am collecting those and saving those now because I get so much grief in the comments on my videos about not doing it. And I actually looked around on eBay just this morning to see, people are selling piles of MLCCs for good money, and they are selling piles of tantalum capacitors for good money. So I'm glad I've started saving them. So yeah. I'll just sell them on eBay. I'm not going to process them myself. Not really my cup of tea. I'm here for the gold, like I've said so many times before. But you folks who want to try and deal with these big old MLCCs, well, I can supply the market. All right, so that's one card. That's good. Let's see what this one is. This one looks like it's got the optical ports on it. Yep. Not quite so much on this card. Got another gold corner BGA, some flat packs. These come out, and I can't tell if those are gold pins or not. But usually these sockets in here that they plug into have gold pins in them. Got a little oscillator, gold-plated oscillator. That's nice. What are these things? You know what these are? These are bridge rectifiers. I think that's what they are anyway. Or are they capacitors? They got 4 legs. I'll bet those are bridge rectifiers. Got a lot of black tantalum capacitors on here. All you tantalum capacitor experts out there, somebody tell me in the comments what the difference is between the black and the yellow ones. And do I need to sort them out? Get maximum value for them? I don't know. So, okay, not a bad board, not a great board. Again, we got lots of gold pins in this connector over here, so That's nice. Have to get those out. These are soldered in, not press fit like the last few pieces of equipment I have taken apart. So I won't get these until I depopulate them in the kiln. Alright. So yeah, I just can't tell if that's gold in there or not. It's cloudy because it's about to storm. If the sun was out, I might be able to see it glinting, but it's not, so. Alright. Let's see. I guess that's all I can take apart without tools. Let's see what it's going to take to get into this bad boy. Looks like I've just got a variety of different types of screws. Wonderful. Okay. Okay. Switch bits here. Trying hard not to kick the tripod while I do this. I don't want to give you vertigo. Okay, that's all the screws. Okay, what else is holding this on? Not sure. It wants to come off. But it's just reluctant. That's the front panel, I guess, coming off. Ah, here we go. There we are. Heavy steel. Okay, maybe it's not the internals on this thing that make it so heavy. It's a heavy steel case right there. Let's see what we got. Now the main board looks pretty darn good. Got a couple, 1, 2, 3 big gold corner BGAs, at least one small one that I see. Lots of big flat packs. Looks like a bunch of RAM over here, maybe some bunch of RAM under here. Yeah, there's some, oh, nice gold pins. I don't know if that's showing up. We got nice gold pins all here, here, and I'll bet there's pins in here too. All right. So as we get further into the autopsy here, I'll be able to recover them. That's nice. Big honking power supply here, which really not worth much, if anything. Got more of those Cisco light pipes with lots of surface mount LEDs back there. Okay. Let's see if I can get this case any more apart. At the moment, I'm not seeing a good way to get the main board out unless this case comes apart a whole lot more. Let's see here. Front panel come off. Yeah, front panel comes off fairly easily. That's just plastic. That'll just go into recycling. Now, how is this case held together? Because all this has to come off to get at that main board in there. So looks like it's got some spot welds here. Huh. Is this going to be a case that you can't get there from here? You know, I've taken apart a few pieces of equipment over the years. Well, maybe not. Okay, maybe it's just... Yeah, okay, good. I have taken apart a few pieces of equipment over the years where it's like, how the heck did they get this together? Because there's no good way to get it apart, you know? Because, you know, it's like, Alright. Oh, okay. So yeah, I got lots of gold pins here on these two little daughter boards in here. And there'll be pins in here, pins in here. That's good. These will come out, looks like easy enough. Just, what, 2 screws holding them in. Alright, good. And then I got lots of gold pins here. Ah, there's some, there's a light pipe coming out. That can go into plastic recycling. There's some fingers down here, but they are not gold-plated fingers. Ah, Cisco cheaped out on that. Rats. But otherwise, this looks like a really nice board. There's lots of good stuff on here. Yeah, here's those 3 big gold corner BGAs. Here's a smaller one. Here's another big gold corner BGA. Didn't see that hiding under the power supply. Looks like we got some RAM chips here. These might be RAM chips. These might be RAM chips. These might be RAM chips. That's nice. Got lots of big flat packs. There's the magnetics hiding out under the light pipes. The magnetics are worthless, but there they are. And there's lots of other miscellaneous ICs on here. Got 1, 2... I see just 2 crystal oscillators at the moment, but I may be overlooking one or more. Okay. Let me see if I can get these daughter boards out first, I guess. Since it looks like there's just 2 screws holding them in. Disconnect the fan. Oops, I gotta change bits. Get that bit out because I'll need it again in a minute. I hope I'm doing this on camera. All right, wow, those are some nice chunky gold pins in there too. There's some really big ones on either side of that connector. They must be for power. That's a lot of gold pins. Nice. And there'll be pins in that side of it too. All right, that's good. Let me get the other one out. Yeah, same as the first one. Nice chunky gold pins on either end. Lots of pins in between. There'll be more in here. Excellent. Too bad they're not press fit. But that's okay. I can deal with them. I just put up a video about how I leach plated gold off of things using the EcoGoldex e-process stripper. So I'll put a link to that in this video. So I may not even bother depopulating these pins off this board. I may just run the whole board through it, and hopefully I can get the stuff in here too, although it's pretty well encased. I might just have to break this plastic off and expose it. See if I can do that. But yeah, I can just strip the gold plating off without having to actually take these off the board. That's probably the easiest way. I don't have to worry about the plastic melting in the kiln and encasing the pins in it. So I gotta bust the plastic off, I suppose. Alright, there's a lot of gold pins there. Let's see, this thing. Well, we got 3 fans and a power supply. Yeah, they're the usual 12-volt DC brushless fans you get in most equipment. And they are plastic body. Rats. I love getting the aluminum body ones. Even the steel body ones are worth more than these plastic ones. They're just garbage as far as I'm concerned. Alright, power supply, low-grade board, not worth much. Steel chassis, not worth much. I think this is all going to go in the recycling. Yeah. Don't have room to store steel until there's enough of it to bother taking to the scrapyard. If it was an aluminum case, chassis, that'd be different. But not steel. Okay, looks like I need to change bits to get this main board out. fair number of screws holding it in here. Man, they didn't spare the screws on this thing, my goodness. This board's not going anywhere. What engineer decided this many screws were needed to hold down a simple PC board? And they're so close together in some areas. There's 1, 2, 3 right here. There's 1, 2, 3 right here in a tiny little area. And what kind of mechanical stress are they expecting this board to be under inside this tank of a box, you know? Okay, have I got them all or did I miss any? Something's still holding it in. There's one. I always miss at least one. Sometimes more. They blend in. Especially when you got so freaking many of them. There we go. Okay. Here's the main board out. Nothing much on the back side except some fairly chunky MLCCs and some black tantalum capacitors. Again, somebody tell me what the difference between the black and the yellow tantalums are. Okay, nice little board. More steel for the recycling. More plastic for the recycling. These can come off. Okay. I gotta think of my best strategy for these gold pins here. I want to, you know, I depopulate my boards in a kiln. You know, surface mount boards like this, put it in the kiln, heat it up above the melting point of solder, and everything just falls off the board. So I'll get everything, pretty much. But I don't want anything to melt either. What I might do is just cut these gold pin plugs out of here and just run them through the leach separately. I don't want to take a chance of melting this stuff. So I might do that. I'll just maybe put this on my bandsaw and cut around these plugs and take them off. And then the rest of this, this board, they can all go through the kiln and get this plastic off. Actually, let me take the front plates off of these boards before they go through the kiln. That way these jacks will fall off too. But they'll be held on if I leave the front plates on in the kiln. So the jacks have a little bit of gold on the plated parts inside. Okay, there's more steel for the recycling. That board's ready to go in the kiln. Well, again, maybe I want to try and at least expose the gold here before it goes in the kiln, just so this doesn't all melt and entomb it. That's great. There's always one. You notice that there's always one that doesn't want to come out. Okay, there's nothing useful on that part of the board, so I'll just break it off. Okay. Let me see what I can expose here. You know what? I don't know. Oh, I love it when they're press fit, but not so much when they're soldered in. Huh. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is maybe run the kiln a little lower than usual temperature-wise and see if I can just reach in, gloved hand, pliers, and pull these off once the solder melts. Hopefully the plastic won't melt at that temperature. All right. And same with this one. But on these, yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut them off before it goes through the kiln. I'll make some cuts with my bandsaw and then just break this off. I'll be right back. All right, so I've made some cuts here. I should be able to just break these loose now. Well, in theory, I should be able to. There we go. Okay. There's one set of gold pins. And there's the other set. Good. So I can run these through the gold leach without having to worry about the connectors melting and entombing the gold. Okay, so now this thing is ready for the kiln. I don't see anything else on here that I really need to harvest before it goes in the heat of the kiln. All these surface mount parts should just fall off. A lot of the through hole stuff will fall off too. There's not that much through hole stuff. Yeah, most of it's surface mount. These things are through hole, but they'll come off once it gets up to temp. Let's see this. I'll chance it. I will try running these through the kiln. I'll set the temperature a little lower than usual, and we'll see if I can just pull these off once the solder gets up above its melting point. And hopefully this white plastic won't melt at a lower temperature than the solder. I know what I'll do. I'll put one in the kiln up and one down, because it's always cooler at the bottom. So that way at the most I'll lose one of them rather than both. And we'll see. So these three boards are ready for the kiln to be depopulated, and we'll see what comes off. This stuff will be set aside to go through the leach and get all that lovely gold off. So to the kiln. Alright, I was a little bit of a diversion on the way to the kiln. I got to really thinking about these gold-plated connectors on here, and worrying that the plastic was going to melt at a lower temperature than the solder. So I tried to desolder them with my heat gun, and sure enough, the plastic started melting first. But on the other hand, it allowed me to expose the gold tips of the pins. They're only plated for about the first I don't know, 3/16 of an inch, 4 millimeters maybe, I don't know. And beyond that, they look like they're steel, spring steel by the looks of it. So oh, that one came loose. But yeah, it allowed me to pull the plastic off, which would have probably melted and entombed the pins in the kiln. So that's good. So what I will probably do is do the same thing to this one. Just see if I can at least expose all the gold before it goes in the kiln, and then I'll set them in upright like this so that if the plastic does melt, it's going to run downhill and it won't entomb the pins. And then hopefully I'll be able to just pull the whole connector out once the solder melts. See, it's a problem I've come up against several times in the past. The connectors, the plastic has a lower melting point than the solder that's holding them in. In fact, now that I mention that, there's another connector here. Careful or I'll be bloody. Yeah, there's another connector here. And that'll melt too. And oh, I can see the gold in that one, so I need to get that one out. Or at least get the plastic off of it. Making a bit of a sow's ear out of this silk purse, but there we go. Some of the gold pins stayed in the connector. That can go through the leach with the other stuff. And some of them are sticking out of the board now, but at least they're exposed. They're not gonna get entombed in the plastic connector when it melts. So these will probably fall off once the kiln gets up to temperature. Or I can just pull them out and set them aside. That way I won't have to sort them out later. That's probably a better option. I won't have to sort them out of the debris in the catch basin at the bottom of the kiln. I'll have them. And again, they're only gold plated on the ends, but these are more like about the last ½ inch is gold plated. Alright, so, okay. So I'm going to try and see if I can expose the gold pins here too. Same process as before. Heat it up. Make the plastic a little more pliable. A bit more trouble than the last one. Of course, I did the last one off camera because I didn't know if it would work. Now it doesn't want to work on camera. There we go. Ooh, that's hot. There, and I'm starting to expose all those gold pins. I really hate it when they get entombed in the plastic, because then I can't just run them through the gold leach and get the plating off super simple. Then I have to do something like incinerate them and hope I get all the gold out of the resulting debris. And I'm never always sure I get it all. Oh, well, there you go. Well, that solves that problem. The whole connector came off. Okay. Alright, I guess I might as well just harvest these few gold pins too and call it a day. Head for the kiln. Speaking of calling it a day, it looks like there's some rough weather moving in. I I may wait until tomorrow to process these through the kiln. Ah, there we go. All right, good. I may, yeah, I hear thunder rumbling again. Let me go out and look at the sky. It's very iffy. I don't know if it's going to rain or not. Might go around, you never know. All right, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to work on getting this out since this stuff came off eventually. I'm going to work on getting this off a little more just so I don't have to worry too much about sorting it out of the debris in the bottom of the kiln. And then I'll at least put this stuff in the kiln. I'll get that on camera and we'll see if we run today or tomorrow. Okay? So let me see if I can just break this whole thing off. And I don't have to worry about doing anything else with it. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah. All right, that can go through the leach just like that because all the gold's exposed. All right, good. All right. Now, to the kiln. All right, here we are out back at the kiln. I guess I'll take a chance and start the run. It sounds like the thunder's getting further away. The storm clouds seem to be moving off. Sort of scooting off to the north. Yeah, the thunder's coming from the north now. It's coming from the west. So, you may miss us. I don't like standing out here in the pouring rain and dealing with 220-volt kilns, but if it's not going to rain, maybe I'll go ahead and start the cycle. So, let me get the boards in. Here's the boards. Let's see. Stand them up here so that they're not too close to the elements. Now, I do have some other stuff that needs populated and I was depopulated, and I was sorely tempted to throw it in with these boards, but it's always interesting to see exactly what you get off of a particular piece of equipment, you know. We'll just get all the stuff off these boards and sort it out and see what we got, and I'll depopulate the other stuff another day. So, okay, so we're in. The thermocouple probe is pushed in. All right. Let's see, I don't have to worry about resetting the temperature anymore because I took those gold pins off. So I just got to start it up. All right, there we go. And I'll check on it in about 45 minutes or an hour and see how we're doing. Should be able to just brush most of the components off the board by then, or shake them and have them fall off. I'll be back. Alright, I just got the stuff in the kiln a couple minutes ago, and I was over here cleaning up my workbench, and I got to looking at this piece right here. Pried it open. The case is only plastic, so it pried apart with the screwdriver pretty easy. And I got a good look in here. There are gold pins in here. And I assume these are photo transistors or photodiodes over here, and maybe LEDs. One of them's an LED, I don't know, or a laser, one or the other, but they have gold pins on them too, right in there. And there's a little circuit board here, so I'm glad I took this apart. So this thing can go through the leach too. Actually, let me disassemble it a little further. Yeah, so here I've taken it out of the carrier. You can see the gold pins there. There's a gold-plated square on the circuit board. I don't know what's inside this enclosure yet. Yeah, it's interesting looking. I might have to take that enclosure apart. If there's anything good in there, I'll show you. A couple of tantalum capacitors on it, and a couple little ICs. And of course we got gold-plated pins here, gold-plated pins here, and gold-plated pins in there. So, nice. Wish I had about 50, 60 of these things instead of just one. Alright, yeah, I'm going to pry this metal case apart, put the phone down and do that. If there's anything inside, I'll show you. If not, just assume there was nothing good there. Alright, I just pried those metal shields off. And under the one there was another little gold-plated square, and there's some gold-plated through holes there. And then also got another little tiny, like a tiny little BGA chip on each side. So got 4 gold-plated legs on each of these units here, and these little squares, and the gold-plated through holes, and the gold pins in here. So I'm going to run this through the leach or the stripper and take all the gold off just as it is. I don't think there's any point in doing anything else to it. And then what I might do is there's probably gold bond wires inside these units here. So after I get the gold off the legs on the outside, what I'll probably do is clip them off and run them through the same process as I do with transistors and diodes, and incinerate them and see if I can get the gold bond wires out of them. Anyway, I'm going to go inside. It's about lunchtime, have a little lunch, and then after lunch it'll be about time to check on the kiln and see how that's doing. Alright, it's been a little over an hour. The kiln's up to about 400 degrees. I had a little peek inside. Things are starting to fall off. So should be able to get the boards pretty well depopulated here. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ooh, that's hot board though. Get all those big MLCCs on the back side off. Alright. There's a chip. There's another chip. Alright, that's a big honking diode there, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. We got pretty much everything else off. Alright. That one's done. Gloves are not that easy to work with. Okay, this is going to have to be in a little while longer. The jacks are not coming off. I'll turn that jack side up and let it cook for a little while longer. This board. And there's a few things on here that don't want to come off yet. This over. Let that one cook a little while longer, and then we'll see if I can get everything else off of them. Most things are depopulated, but not quite everything. Well, the thunder's rumbling really loud again. Storms are coming back this way. So let's see if this stuff in here is done so I can shut down the kilns and turn off circuit breakers where the rain starts coming down. Oh yeah. There we go. There we go. Okay, so that board, yeah, there's a big MLCC. Alright. That board is officially depopulated. Oh, no, okay. Said that a little too quick. There's a couple little components over here that just don't want to come off. I wonder if they used a different kind of solder paste on them or something. Everything else has come off this board, but I can just knock those off with a screwdriver later. It's just a little tiny IC and a tantalum capacitor. That's it. Everything else is off that board. Let's see here. Yeah. There's the thunder again. Yeah, it's weird. Everything, almost everything else comes off, but there's just a few things that don't want to. I'll tell you what, I'm going to risk going for a little while. I'm going to set it right on top. I don't know if that's showing up on the video. Let me look. Yeah, I set it right up on top of my wire basket there, where it's going to be hotter, the top of the kiln, and we'll see if that other stuff comes off. It's weird. It's like most things come off, but a few things seem to have more stick-to-itiveness. So I'll give that a few more minutes. Hopefully it won't start raining, and we'll see what we get. Alright, I'm going to check this one last time, and good, bad, or ugly, it's done. Alright? Because, oh, yeah, I would say it's probably done. The circuit board's starting to bubble up. Oh yeah, everything's coming off now. Okay. Let's see. I don't see anything else on there. A few tiny MLCCs. Tiny, tiny ones. Okay. Okay, that is one depopulated board. Alright, depopulation done. Turn the kiln off. Put a brick in here to hold the door open a little bit so it can cool down. And probably tomorrow morning I will sort through all that stuff in the bottom of the kiln and we'll see what we got. Alright, it's actually later the same day. I was going to do this tomorrow, but the rain is held off. It is all around me, and you may hear some thunder in the background. For some reason, everybody's getting rain except us. So it could start any minute, but this stuff has cooled down enough to handle without gloves. So I guess I can sort it out. So I got the Ethernet jacks here. Groups of 6 of them, modules of 6, got those over there, and here's some individuals. There's another one. And there's one. I was thinking there were 4. Yeah, alright, so there's those. Actually, there's 5. Oh, that's right, one of them was a console port on the back, that's right. There, can you hear the thunder? And let's see, there's some junk in here. Here's some steel, or actually, I don't know, maybe zinc or some sort of injection molded metal. I don't think it is steel. Piece just fell off. I'll get that later. I got these power connectors. They're pretty much worthless. There's no gold plating on them. Got some little inductors here. Toroidal inductors. I guess that's all of them. I'm not going to keep them. They're worthless. All these big electrolytic capacitors, they're worthless to me. I mean, even if I had a use for them, I wouldn't trust them after going through the kiln. The tops on them are all bulged out, so, you know, they're just waiting to explode. Here's a little reset button. That's the plastic button part of it's melted off, so that's no good. So this is all garbage. Alright, so let's see what kind of good stuff have we got in here. We got some gold corner BGAs, like my favorite things in the world. 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. Nice. Oh, 7. There's another one hiding down there. So there's 7 gold corner BGAs. Let's see, maybe there's some more hiding in here, but I think that was about all of them. And we got a lot of these big flat pack IC chips. Cisco Systems Custom IC chips. And oh, that's a, ooh, what is that? That is a processor. That is an IBM Power PC 403GA. I think that's a microprocessor chip. I think that was probably the chip that ran the whole thing. So hopefully these big flat packs. Here's some level 1 flat packs, more Cisco. Level 1, level 1, level 1, Cisco, Cisco. Hopefully there's a lot of bond wires in these things. That would be nice. Gold bond wires. That would be nice in these great big flat packs that must have a couple hundred legs on them. So that would be great. Got the magnetics here. They're worthless. Pull these out and throw them away. Oh, there's some more capacitors. They can go. Okay, so magnetics, they come in a couple different types. There's Bell, there's Pulse, there's Halo. There's other types too, I'm sure. There's the magnetics. Here's the fuse that was on the board. That's no good anymore. It looks like the heat of the kiln melted the solder in the fuse, and it's no good anymore. Got a capacitor. All right, we got two. We got a crystal oscillator here, and we got a quartz crystal. So I will put those in my jar of crystal oscillators and quartz crystals. They're not gold plated, so I'm not going to keep them, but I will put them in the jar, and when the jar is full, it's going to go on eBay. Okay, we got a lot more IC chips in here, so I'll pull out all the IC chips, all the semiconductors actually, because I saw, yeah, there's a couple of these things here. I'm assuming voltage regulators, but I am not certain. They have an awful lot of legs on them for voltage regulators, so I'd probably have to look up the number to see what they are. HIP 5011. So, I don't know. But they probably have some gold bond wires in them. Maybe some chunky ones even. So I'm going to put them over here with the IC chips. So I'm going to pull all the semiconductors out of here. I may speed this up while I do it. There is an LED. Only one LED. Oh, that's right. They're all surface mount. Hopefully most of them came off and are in here. So I'm going to put that with the IC chips because a lot of LEDs have gold bond wires. Also, there are a lot of little tiny, I don't even know if that's showing up on the video, little tiny glass diodes in there. And I know these have gold bond wires in them, but they are tiny. So put them with the ICs, hopefully they don't get lost. Alright, I guess that's about all the semiconductors. I got a lot more of the little tiny glass diodes here. Hopefully they won't get lost. Alright, so there's some more trash in here. That's the base of that connector that had the gold plated pins on it, but I pulled all the gold parts off. Oh, there's a couple more little diodes. Let's see, there's a resistor network. That's garbage. There's these big things here. I don't know what they are exactly. I thought at first they might be bridge rectifiers, but looking at them, I don't think they are. I think they are actually probably big tantalum capacitors. Even though they have 4 legs instead of 2, I suspect they're big tantalum capacitors, but I don't know for sure. There's another one. Ooh, I'm sweating like a pig. It is hot out here. I do kind of wish it would rain. It'd cool things off. So I don't know what these are. I might have to look them up. I don't want to put them with my tantalum capacitors and just have somebody complain that, hey, these aren't tantalums. And let's see what else. I got, that's a gold-plated oscillator. That's a gold-plated oscillator. Them over here with the gold-plated stuff. And then, let me go get my jars. I'll be right back. Okay, so I brought out my mason jars full of stuff that I'm saving. Like I said, everybody was giving me grief about not saving the tantalum capacitors. Well, I actually looked them up and see that, yeah, people are buying them. Okay. You know, I don't have time to deal with them, but if somebody else wants to and wants to pay me for the privilege, hey, I'm all for it. Man, there are a lot of little glass diodes in here. So not as many tantalums as came off of some of the other equipment I've processed recently. Now there's a little blue capacitor. So this is the same issue I had the other day when I scrapped out that piece of Interisys equipment. And it had a white capacitor. I didn't know if it was a tantalum or not. So here's a blue capacitor. Alright, so let's see what else we got in here. That's another tantalum. And then there's the black tantalums, and I still don't know the difference between the whites and the blacks, or the yellows and the blacks. So somebody elucidate me. And then here's some more of these big black things that I assume are tantalum capacitors. Here's another LED. Trash. Okay, that's black tantalum, black tantalum. There's a lot of little tiny black tantalum capacitors. So yeah, somebody tell me the difference between the black and the yellow and which is better. Do I need to sort them out? Before I get 10,000 of them in here and have to go and resort them. yeah. I might speed up this part of the video. This board had mostly black tantalum capacitors on it, or this piece of equipment did. I guess there were 3 different boards there. Had mostly black tantalum capacitors on it. Oh, there's a gold-plated pin. Fell off. Put that. Here's the gold-plated stuff. Minus the 2 big daughter boards with lots of pins on it. Those are in the garage somewhere. So anyway, I may speed this up while I get all the black tantalums out of here. Alright, I think I got... There's another blue one. I think I got most of the black ones. They tend to blend in because the thing here is black. I think I got most of them. Yeah, I think these boards actually probably had all black tantalums on it, and I think that the yellow tantalums that are in here I scooped up off the bottom of the kiln. They may have come from some other piece of equipment in the past. Stuff misses the catch basin. I need to vacuum out the bottom of the kiln. I keep forgetting to do that because there's a lot of stuff down there, little bits and pieces of this and that. So what's left in here? Well, there's lots of MLCCs. Looks like maybe some chip resistors. There's another black tantalum. And another one. And there's some things I'm not sure what they are. This might be a chip resistor. Let me see if I can read any writing on it. I don't actually see any writing on it. On any side, I don't see any writing. I'll bet this is a chip resistor, though. I'll just bet you. And that's another one. So I'm going to assume they are. They kind of have the look. Here's another one. Got some big MLCCs here. That's another tantalum. One thing about this piece of equipment process today is it had a lot of big MLCCs on it. I mean, it had a lot of little itty bitty tiny ones that you can barely see too, but it had a lot of big ones on it. A lot of the equipment I've been working with just has the tiny ones. I think that's another chip resistor. And another chip resistor. But it had a whole bunch of these big MLCCs. Wouldn't it be nice if they were non-magnetic? That'd make somebody's day. Alright, let me wave a magnet over them. Tantalum. Well, what do you know? They are just barely attracted to the magnet. This is a really powerful magnet too. Another tantalum. So yeah, a lot of other stuff is sticking to it. Some of the smaller MLCCs are sticking to it, but the big ones, they just barely attracted to it at all. All right, I am going to put them in the non-magnetic jar. Just because they are barely at all attracted to it, and a lot of them don't seem to be attracted at all. Whereas the smaller ones really stick to it. I found that a lot of the smaller, little tiny, barely see them grain of sand type MLCCs seem to be very strongly attracted to a magnet. magnet's just skimming over a lot of this stuff. But it's picking up a lot too, as you can see. Oh dear. There's a lot of little tiny tantalum capacitors mixed in with those MLCCs. I mean, those are tiny, tiny. Geez, I don't have to sort all that out. Alright, maybe I'll speed this part up too. So here is a big pile of magnetic MLCCs. There's a few little tantalum capacitors in it. Well, actually more than a few. That's going to take some sorting. God, what a pain in the butt. There's a few big MLCCs in here too that, yeah, they stick pretty well. And I'm sure there's some chip resistors, maybe some chip inductors. I have no idea what that is. Feels like a piece of steel. I'll throw that in the trash pile. Okay. So let's see, non-magnetic, which are magnetic, I'll put them in there. I probably need to sort out some more of the tantalums out of that before I do it. Got my oscillator jar. My oscillators and my crystals go in here that aren't gold plated. I keep the gold plated ones to get the gold off of them. In fact, I will put these in here with the other gold plated stuff. Alright, I am still not sure what these things are. I kind of suspect they're big tantalum capacitors, but I don't know for sure. Maybe I will look at the number. That looks like a chip resistor. Then I got these blue ones, I don't know what they are. But there's just two tiny ones there. I'm not sure it's even worth bothering to try and look them up. Alright, tantalum capacitors. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Let's see. Also got 3 circuit boards to go on the depopulated circuit board pile. Let's see, somewhere, yeah, there is a great big honkin' diode on here. I don't know if I'm going to bother taking it off or not. There might be a gold bond wire in it. Otherwise, they are pretty well depopulated, except for some of those tiny little grain of sand MLCCs. So, got a bunch of steel here. This is just going to go in recycling. Got no time for steel. Got plastic that's going to go in recycling. Got garbage. It's going to go in my garbage can. I've got these things. Boy, the lighting is harsh out here, sorry. I've got these things, the jack modules that have the gold-plated pins in them. They'll go through the leach, or I should say maybe the stripper. I've been calling it leach rather than stripper because I don't want to get in trouble with, you know, YouTube. Who knows? So all this stuff will go through the leach, get the gold off. I got these wonderful gold corner BGAs, and I got all of these IC chips over here. My goodness. Look at this pile of IC chips. Mostly great big flat packs and what looks like RAM chips. So I'm loving that because there's probably a lot of lovely gold bond wires in here. This will go through my usual process of dissolving off the legs before they're incinerated. Look at it heavy. Are these might be ceramic. I don't know. Hold on a minute. All right. These chips are remarkably heavy for their size, so I'm wondering if they're ceramic rather than plastic. Let me just maybe sacrifice one or two and see. Yeah, I guess they're plastic. They're just heavy plastic. That one is anyway. That one's a little lighter. It's lighter. All right, because if they're ceramic, I can't incinerate them. You know, I have to put them through a different process. It's pretty heavy. Yeah, it's plastic. Okay, good. They're just heavy plastic. So okay, so got lots of IC chips, a few LEDs, and a few glass barrel diodes. Tiny little glass barrel diodes in here. So these can all go through my usual process of getting the glass barrel diodes will probably go right through the holes in the colander. I put this stuff in the AP solution in, but I'm not sure how to handle those. But I'm sure they probably have little bitty gold bond wires in them. I'll have to think about that. Anyway, that's it. So our new Cisco, our latest Cisco victim has been totally dismembered. Oh, there's a couple more MLCCs in there that the magnet didn't pick up. I'll put them with the non-magnetic. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you found this interesting, informative, or at least not boring. So give me a like if you're so inclined. Subscribe to the channel so that you can see future videos. They'll be coming fairly fast and furious here for a while, as I pare down some of the equipment I've got laying around. And there'll be more of these scrap out, tear down, depopulate, and sort out videos. All right, well, thanks a lot for watching. Keep it safe out there. Happy scrapping, and I'll see you later.